Hey guys, how's it going? It seems like the dream dry spell is continuing, and if I am having dreams, I don't have any recollection of them, which to me, this is quite sad because I feel to me that dreams are a very important component to my life, and I feel a really deep sense of connection with my dreams, and it feels like when I don't remember them or I don't have them, that I'm missing a piece of myself. Like there is a sense of incompleteness. But let it be so. Just have to be patient. I do have a feeling that they will return in a very big way. So let's see what happens later on. What I want to discuss today is this idea or concept of what people call the New World Order. So, since I personally was anticipating a fast kill, like shown in iPad Go 2, a literal cataclysm that results in a flooding and freezing of the world that will bring about the birth of this demigod antichrist figure, which it very well may play out that way. But I made a video a few days back saying that I don't believe the traditional end times anymore. I don't know. I'm just kind of in a moment of equilibrium right now, just waiting to see how what happens. Of course, there's some very suspicious elements that actually confirm the biblical narrative, specifically our current president and his, since he was vice president to another guy that you know who I'm talking about, that other guy's numerology is filled with connections to the Antichrist figure. So could it be? Yeah, but I don't know how he's gonna be brought in. I don't necessarily anticipate a cataclysm anymore. Like I said before, it could be a little quiet transition, which would be ideal. The most ideal one would be the quiet, slow frog boil, which is what I feel like we're experiencing. Nonetheless, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the components of the New World Order. Not people like to talk about specific details like Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, climate deals, perhaps universal basic income, one world currency, blah, blah, blah. But I only seen a handful of people discuss the spiritual or social elements to what I believe they're trying to achieve, and it goes far beyond just transgender and things like that. And it's an expression of, it's the ultimate expression of duality, which sounds confusing to some of you that have been monitoring the New Age for quite some time. You've been told that we've been spreading apart from duality into a unity consciousness. And that is true for individual people that are experiencing that unity. But every time you're told something, just remember it's probably the opposite. So if the New Age told you that you're going to be in a unity consciousness, realize that you're going to be in a greater duality than you've ever been in, a greater separation than you've ever been in, a greater sense of barriers between things. And what does it feel like right now? Does it feel like ultimate unity consciousness is playing out in the world? Because I certainly don't feel that at all. I feel a tremendous sense of disunity. So, what do I mean by that? So, I think a good representation of what the New World Order will look like will be like a sort of cyberpunk society that is separated by a caste system. So, no, despite what you think, not everyone will be equal, and not everyone will be receiving the equal amount of social praise or UBI or whatever it may be. There will be a distinct separation. There will be genetic experiments. So, in that ultimate expression of duality, what I mean by that is you have, on one hand, a vision of a sort of Aryan perfection of genetics, which I believe they're going to segregate a certain element of society to create a perfect human, and not for several different reasons. But one of them is to create perfect soldiers. So super soldiers with super strength and super agility and very sharp skills, etc., etc., etc. But there's going to be an extreme opposite end. It'll be the anti-perfection. There will be genetics, genetic experiments, and things of that nature that will bring about living monstrosities. They will be creatures of demonic proportions. They will be blended with human DNA. They will blend extraterrestrial and human DNA and other things to create literal monsters. So you will have a segregation between the perfection, and those will be, of course, just in the tier just below the elite classes, the perfected Aryan Nazi race, right? Which is very important. You think that ideology, let's just call it eugenics, has died out since World War II? No, it's not. And that goal has never stopped, has never stopped since World War II. And then you will have monsters, and the people amongst the monsters will be living in a realm of do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt, and a sense of moral relativism. If it feels good, do it. Kind of what do you call it? Instant gratification. And we're already in that. We're all victims of that. We all have trouble with instant gratification. Even I do. And see, I was expecting this scenario to play out, and my impatience, because I felt there was many years where I thought Jesus would return and we would already be on the new earth. And that is a form of, what do you call it? Just lost my train of thought here. That is a form of instant gratification, because you're unable or incapable of waiting patiently for something. We expect things to arrive quickly, but that's not how the elites work either. So amongst that you have, you have the social ideology of moral relativism, disgusting monstrosities blended with alien DNA, perfected alien races, and then you have a third tier, or a fourth rather, that is going to be the slave classes. The slave classes will have they will have choices. Despite what you think, you will not be forced to take the, what do you call it, the mark. You will not be forced to unite with the neural link or any sort of brain implants that will alter your brain. This will all be your choice to do so. But if you do not choose to do so, there will be consequences, in the sense that you will be monitored and controlled, and you will be an outcast. You'll be an outcast, and people will be very suspicious, and because of that, you will have an extra eye of control that you'll have to be living in. And anything you say that's not to their liking will result in severe consequences. So if you could live without those things and be a good obedient worker for the small number of menial tasks that will have to remain to have the society going, then the rest will be done by AI and robots, of course. But there's always things that have to be done by humans. The ones who've taken the Neuralink and things like that will be in a perpetual state of fake happiness. It will be like the Brave New World, like the movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale, where they will be simply incapable of being unhappy. And in that way, they could have them work long hours and not complain. They could have them not question anything. They could have them be satisfied with whatever they get. And this will be through a form of telepathic mind control via the technology. That's how I see it working, God. Why did I say God? Wow, that's weird. Okay. That's unfortunately how it looks like to me. Does it mean that it will be like that? No. Of course, there is still a chance that the world will come to an abrupt and sudden end, and we will simply transition into other worlds. Although the chance is remote, and it seems like it's far more likely, we will be slowly transitioning. Um, and of course, on top of the monstrosity, so there's a reason for the super soldiers. It will also, I believe, be like 1984. We'll be in a perpetual state of war. So, perpetual state of war, worse than it is now, significantly worse. So, it's a strange dynamic, dynamic that I believe that's how they wanted to play out. It's a extreme duality of perfection and imperfection, moral relativism, and the most important thing I forgot to mention is the death of current global religions. There will be no more, and you can already sense that. I know you can. That if you really go deep within yourself, you've realized that religions are just fading away. Think about it. Think about it for a long time. You just think about how it was like 10 years ago and how it is now. They're simply dissipating into the ether. And they will be no more when this order comes. All right, guys.